Senseless destruction may be man's greatest flaw. We have no idea what leads to a person's choice to destroy his home, his life, another's life. Why do we as humans have such a fascination with this subject? Irish poet Michael Longley wrote his poem, The Linen Workers, after an actual event took place in 1976 during the Protestant-Catholic conflict in Ireland. 10 people were stopped and killed on the spot. Although tragic and difficult to deal with, we must not forget those we've lost. Christ's teeth ascended with him into heaven. Through a cavity in one of his molars, the wind whistles. He is fastened forever by his exposed canines to a wintry sky. I am blinded by the blaze of that smile, and by the memory of my father's false teeth, brimming in their tumbler. They wore bubbles, and outside of his body, a deadly grin. When they massacred the 10 linen workers, there fell on the road beside them spectacles, wallets, small change, and a set of dentures, blood, food particles, the bread, the wine. Before I can bury my father once again, I must polish the spectacles, balance them upon his nose, fill his pockets with money, and into his dead mouth slip the set of teeth. The most prolific writer of the 20th century, F. Scott Fitzgerald, gave us The Great Gatsby. We either love Gatsby or hate him, and everything that he stands for: wealth, dreams, loneliness, and love. But he was murdered, and amid the swirling blood in the water are his dreams, dashed, drowned. One man, because of his blind rage, wanted revenge and chose the wrong person. I have an idea that Gatsby himself didn't believe it would come, and perhaps he no longer cared. If that was true, he must have felt that he had lost the old, warm world, paid a high price for living too long with a single dream. He must have looked up at an unfamiliar sky through frightening leaves and shivered as he found what a grotesque thing a rose is, and how raw the sunlight was upon the scarcely created grass. A new world, material, without being real, where poor ghosts breathing dreams like air drifted fortuitously about, like that ashen figure gliding toward him through the amorphous trees. The chauffeur heard the shots. Afterward, he could only say that he hadn't thought anything much about them. I drove from the station directly to Gatsby's house, and my rushing anxiously up the front steps was the first thing that alarmed anyone. But they knew then, I firmly believe. With scarcely a word said, 4 of us, the chauffeur, butler, gardener, and I, hurried down to the pool. There was a faint, barely perceptible movement of the water as the fresh flow from one end urged its way toward the drain at the other. With little ripples that were hardly the shadow of waves, the laden mattress moved irregularly down the pool. A small gust of wind that scarcely corrugated the surface was enough to disturb its accidental burden. The touch of a cluster of leaves revolved it slowly, tracing, like the leg of transit, a thin red circle in the water. It was after we started with Gatsby toward the house that the gardener saw Wilson's body a little way off in the grass, and the Holocaust was complete. With the onslaught of instantly available photos and videos, destruction caused by mass murder is more widely reported and viewed. Is it our duty as global citizens to be aware of what is happening to other people in other parts of the world, especially if violent acts are committed? Or is it better to shelter ourselves from disturbing images, acknowledge that such vicious acts exist, and move on with our lives? In the June 30th, 2014 issue of Time magazine, some disturbing images were published along with Aaron Baker's accompanying text. Raw images, photos of an alleged massacre stoke sectarian rage. The photos are disturbing. Members of ISIS stand with their automatic rifles pointing at rows of men wearing civilian clothes, some handcuffed. Other photographs appear to show the militants shooting. Others show trenches filled with what seem to be bodies. Posted to social media sites affiliated with ISIS on June 14th, the images were accompanied with a sobering message. The extremist group claimed to have killed 1,700 Iraqi soldiers, including those in the photos, in the preceding week. The online messages claimed that Shiites among the troops had been singled out. The killings have not been verified, but if the militants did execute that many captives, the slaughter would represent the biggest mass killing in a bloody multi-year war that now spans Syria and Iraq. In the midst of all the senseless destruction, what are we left to do? Fitzgerald provides a final thought from The Great Gatsby. And so we beat on, boats against the current, borne back ceaselessly into the past.